Hey everybody, Patrick Kenny here. I am with my friend and new client, Chris Orzechowski. What's going on, Chris? How are you, man? So we've been talking here about some of the new stuff we've done for what is it? What is the new method that we have now? Is it the
Make It Rain method?
The Make It Rain method. All right. So, and you did. What did you do? Was it yesterday?
It was about an hour and 17 minutes ago.
Okay, so we talked yesterday and went through some of the sales processes, kind of put this thing together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we spent about an hour and 20 minutes on the phone yesterday, and today you've already sold it or pre-sold it? Or
Yeah, we're on like the 2-yard line. So just need to get approvals. Just need to send over some paperwork and things. But yeah, it was one of the biggest deals I ever closed, and it was pretty damn easy.
Nice, man. All right, so for the people that are listening to this, watching this testimonial, I'm just going to ask you a handful of questions just so they can kind of piece together what it's like to either work in my fully booked method. You can go to Get You Booked and learn more about that. But when we talked before, you had some issues with, not issues, but challenges of scaling and dealing with one-on-one projects and wanting to get it to a productized service. So could you tell people kind of like what was your challenge? Not problem, but what was your challenge before you started working with me on this?
I had a few. One of them was definitely wanting to throw more deliverables to feel like you're justifying what you're charging. At the end of the day, like you said, people just want the result, and it doesn't really matter how many emails and this and that. Like, you just need to get them to the result and then just build out the offer, kind of reverse engineer what is the least that you could do in order to get someone that result. And it's not about throwing, like for me, it's not about throwing 30 or 40 or 50 different email sequences at them. It's like, why don't we just find the 3 that make the most amount of money and offer those? And it's kind of like scary at first because, when you're upping your prices and reducing the amount of deliverables, you're like, no one's going to take this. But when you sell the right way and you position things the right way and you justify it and you show people how the numbers make sense and how they work, it's a lot easier than you think.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. So for those listening, what would you say you liked most about the stuff we've done? Now we're just a couple weeks into this, right? And you're already looking at bigger deals. What did you like most about our first call, the system, kind of how we broke things down? What did you like most about that?
What I liked most was just getting your perspective on my business, because it's very hard to read the label when you're in the bottle. And as a subject matter expert, you definitely tend to focus on the deliverables and the nitty gritty stuff that like no one besides you really cares about. And when you're marketing yourself, you have to speak your prospect's language, which is not the same language that you speak as the subject matter expert, right? Like, you have this great understanding. Like, I have this great understanding of email, but a lot of my clients, they could care less. They don't care how I get the result as long as I make them more money. So basically just learning how to get out of your own head, and you help me do that. You help pull out like, what is the thing that people want? What is the language you need to use to make those offers?
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's great. And that's so key. Perspective is one of the most valuable things we can do in anyone's business, especially on the email side. So with anybody that's listening to this or watching this testimonial, we're just kind of riffing on stuff as you shared the win today. What would you recommend to another entrepreneur or business owner who might be on the fence about the fully booked method or seeking to maybe work with me to get a similar result?
I mean, to borrow a Nike slogan, just do it. I was on the fence, and it wasn't that I wasn't convinced. It's just, it's a decent investment, but it's an investment that you could obviously make back very quickly once you know what the hell you're doing. So, and the cool thing is, I know this is only our second call. We have a lot of work still yet to do. So I'm really excited to, pour some gasoline on this fire. But I think it's just a matter of looking at where you want to take your business. And it's one of those things where, you're probably doing decently well enough on your own, and you can obviously continue to do decently well, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get to the next level, you got to change the things that you're doing, and you got to get smarter. And I've also this year just become very Like my whole new philosophy is like, just find people who are smarter than me and give them money and then just do what they say. So if you're like at that point in your business where you're like, you know what, I'm just not going to figure it out. I'm just going to pay people who are smarter than me, who have processes that work, know what they're doing, and can round out all of your edges. I mean, it just makes sense.
100%. I totally agree. Thanks for that. That's becoming the Bill Gates, right? He always sought out people that were smarter than him in certain areas and just brought that team together. So that's a really important thing to do in anyone's business. So my last question for you, my friend, is is there anything else that you'd like to tell people about kind of what we work together, or, you know, anything you challenge them on if they're listening to this going like, I don't know if I can do that. Is there anything you just like to add or to riff on before we close?
That's a good question. I mean, I'll just say this, like, I know already after 2 weeks that the way that I create offers in my business and the way that I position my services will probably never be the same, in a good way. I can already tell, like, I worked my ass off last year, and I mean, I really freaking hustled and I crushed. I did very well. But the thought of working my ass off doing 30 different things like I did last year, it was very daunting. So, you know, looking at the model that Patrick showed me, I was like, wow, I can kind of simplify and only focus on just a small little handful of offers and pour all of my working time and working energy into these things and do it in a very highly leveraged way. It makes a lot more sense. And I know that Patrick's given me the vehicle that I need to scale up. You know, I'm not trying to scale to $1 billion, right? I'm just trying to scale up to the point where I can make enough money to have everything that I want to do and be satisfied. So yeah, if I were you, I would do it. You know, take a chance, just make it happen.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. So anybody listening, if you want more information about what Chris does, so Chris Orzechowski, he likes to make it rain with email, and he's got a pretty fantastic offer that we put together that if you have an e-commerce business doing pretty well and you want to extract some revenue out of your email list, or maybe you're not tapping your email list, you definitely want to reach out to Chris and learn more about his business. So where can people learn more about Chris Orzechowski and his new insanely awesome offer?
Yeah, just go to the email copywriter.com. Or if you want to apply directly, you can just go to orzmedia.com. That's ORZY media.com. And that'll take you right to my application to work with me. And yeah, just fill that out and I'll get in contact with you.
That's awesome. All right, Chris, I appreciate it so much. And for anybody watching this or listening, if you want to learn more about what Chris and I worked on together, you can go to getyoubookt.com. That's get you, like YouTube, YOU, getyoubooks.com, and you can do the same. You can reach out to me, schedule time to discuss the fully booked method and what that might do for your business. And then you can reach out to Chris if you're an e-commerce business ready to crush email. All right, Chris, thanks, man. We'll talk soon.